I have the telephone hop game from the Secret Not Secret Kit Club. This layout belongs to Jennifer, and I will link her video below. I received this layout, and I am supposed to make some inspiration from that and then send it on to the next person. I am a double page scrapper, as you guys know, so I just did the left side of my layout following her layout inspiration, and then I went ahead and added to the right side of the layout. Jennifer had this amazing piece in the center of her layout. When I saw that piece, I knew that I wanted to use this paper. It's one of those like really fun papers that are cut into a different design, and I knew that it would look great as that piece that Jennifer has on hers. I went ahead and took 2 of my photos and mounted them on the like teal color paper, and then used the stripes and the same teal color paper as well as some yellow paper and a blue and green diamond paper as well to make my strips down at the bottom of the layout. This paper pad I have had in my collection for a long time, and I only had the really thin sheets. I actually think that somebody had given me this, like they were done with it, and so it had some scraps and some other pieces in it as well. I actually think it was in one of my pay it forward boxes that I do, where you know you send supplies along, and so I had pulled that out. Well, then there was a peachy cheap deal where you got some of the paper as well as some of the ephemera pieces to it. So I snapped that up really quickly so that I could add to this collection. And I just love using this paper because I think it's such a boy paper. I do go ahead and put one of my photos down flat, and then I put fun foam on the other one, and I do overlap them. These photos are of my nephew Malachi, and we had gone to the hospital. This was actually before all of the stuff that's currently going on right now, and he was visiting his grandfather, and as we're leaving, he grabs a couple of gloves from one of those like boxes that they have like by the door for the doctors to use, and I didn't even realize it until we got in the car, and then he proceeded to put the glove on his head. So these photos are just of him with these silly looking glove on his head, and it didn't last long. It lasted, you know, maybe a minute or two before it snapped, and then he couldn't, you know, use it anymore. But it was fun photos that I was able to capture, and he's got a silly face on it. There's actually the one on the left hand side where the glove is like pulling his eye up, and he just looks so super silly in it. And I wanted to capture that because that's who Malachi is. He is a jokester and likes to play around and do crazy things that just you wouldn't think that anyone would ever do. Or maybe that is just boys, because he is my first nephew, my oldest nephew, and so sometimes when I'm around him, I'm like, oh my goodness, this crazy boy. One of the ephemera pieces that came with this that I picked up from the Peachy Cheap deal was this one here, this little tag that says playful, and then underneath it says silly, lively, mischievous, and funny. And that is exactly what Malachi is. And so I thought it fit really well. I do go ahead and start to build the cluster down there on the bottom. I add a sticker that says so silly, and then I also am going to add a couple of stars and some ephemera pieces. I recently joined the Freckle Fawn embellishment kit, and I am loving it. First of all, you can pick out what embellishments that you want to get each month. So I am getting the label stickers and the chipboard as well as the enamel dots. And so it's super cheap or super reasonable, and it comes every month, and you do have the ability to skip the month if you want, but I'm just loving everything that I got. So those enamel dots that you see up there with the navy and the teal stars and hearts, as well as the chipboard pieces that are up there on the right hand side, both of those came from, I believe, my June kit from Freckled Fawn. And so I will link below so that you guys could check that out if you would like. I think it's a great way to build up some of your embellishments if you don't currently have a lot of embellishments. I have embellishments that are for each one of the kits that I'm in, but I don't really have embellishments outside of those kits. And while I could break them down and add them to my embellishment book, it's just not something that I want to do at this time. So I'm glad that I was able to find this kit club from Freckled Fawn. I actually have more than 3 clusters in this layout. I have a total of 5, I guess, if you would count, like if you want to count the 3 at the top there, so the one with the teal and the date in it, and then underneath it it has the ticket, and then over on the right hand side there's a bunch of stars, and then down at the bottom left I have a cluster, and then on the far right hand side I have a cluster. But I think that it works. It's not the rules of 3 that I followed, but I like the way that it turned out. I do have 2 journaling spots. On the left hand side I just wrote that Malachi got this glove when we went to visit his papa in the hospital. And then on the right hand side, because I had that space as well, I wrote Malachi thought it was funny that he couldn't see, which obviously if you're going to put something over your eyes you're not going to be able to see, but he just thought that that was hilarious and he was cracking up on the fact that he couldn't see through the glove. The geotags with the heart, that is also something that I picked up at Freckled Fawn. What's great is that you can add to your monthly kit. So if there are new items out or something that you maybe want more of from the previous kit, you can add. And I saw those geotags and I love them. I don't end up using it on this layout. I pulled it out to use it, but I decided to go with different wood veneer. I want to encourage you guys to follow along in this hop. Every day we will post a new layout. And the fun thing about this is the only layout that I have seen is the layout right before me. We don't get to see any of the layouts, how it started or how it ended up. So I am 3rd on the list and I can't wait to see what the next person does, and then also the way that it ends up, because that's what's so fun about this telephone game hop. There are also other groups, and so I encourage you guys to check those out as well and follow them along with their telephone hop game. That way you are able to see how much a layout can change, or sometimes how much it stays the same from each designer along the way. I do pull out this wood veneer that says Wild and Free, and that's going to be my title. I didn't have enough photos to do a grid design, and at first I thought I was just going to leave the number paper the way it was, but then when I found this Wild and Free, it didn't look well with the numbers, so I went ahead and added the checkered board pattern to it and put my title on top of it. Alright everyone, here is my final layout as well as some close-ups. If you enjoyed this video, if you wouldn't mind giving me a thumbs up, I'd really appreciate it. If you haven't done so already and you want to see more double page layouts, make sure you hit that subscribe button because that's all you're going to get on my channel. Thanks everyone for watching, and I hope that you have a scrappy day.